Oh hi. Fremantle, the seaport in the Australian state of Western Australia located in 19 km to the southwest from Perth, the capital of the state, is in the mouth of the Swan River on the western coast of Australia. Is the pioneer settlement in the territory of colony of Swan River. It is based in 1829. In 1929 I received the status of the city. English city. According to a census of 2006, the population of the city was 7459 people, and the area of local government of the same name -24835 persons. The city is called in honor of the Captain Charles Fremantle, the English naval officer who declared sovereignty of Britain over Western Australia. In Fremantle, a large number of constructions of the 19th century and other objects of cultural heritage remained. According to a population census of 2006, 7459 people lived in the city. Indicators on sexual categories in the city were the following: 3868 men and 3591 women. Indicators on age categories: 3.6% of inhabitants up to 4 years, 7% of inhabitants from 5 to 14 years, 12.5% of inhabitants from 15 to 24 years, 48.4% of inhabitants from 25 to 54 years, 28.5% of inhabitants are more senior than 55 years. Middle age was 41 years. The national structure of the population was 57% of Australians, 9.2% of British, 3.6% of Italians, 2.4% of New Zealanders, 1.3% of Scots and 0.9% of Americans. The share of the inhabitants who were born abroad made 30.3%. English was the main language of communication in the city, 74.3%. The second most popular, Italian, 5.3%. On religious structure, the share of atheists made 28%, Catholics -24.7%, Anglicans -14.4%, members of the Joint Church -2.1%. Share of families in which there were children, made 30.9% of inhabitants. A share of childless families -49.5%. A share of incomplete families with at least one parent -16.7%. Households made 44.2% of all households of Fremantle of one family. Average weekly income is one person more senior than 15 years, or $539. Unemployment rate in Fremantle in 2006 was 5%. On April 25, 1829, in the mouth of the Swan River where now there is a city of Fremantle, the British Challenger ship under Charles Fremantle's command moored. The main objective of crew was to found colony. On May 2, 1829, the Captain Fremantle announced sovereignty of the British Empire over all western coast of New Holland. For this purpose the official ceremony was specially held. Several days later the first camp of colonists which laid the foundation for the city of Fremantle was set up. Month of later, on June 1, to Riverbanks the vessel Parmelia which Captain James Stirling officially declared creation of colony of Swan River came. On August 12, 1829 the city of Perth was founded. On August 25, the Captain Fremantle, who gave considerable support to Stirling, left colony. Subsequently, Stirling made the decision to call the settlement in his honor, Fremantle. In 1897, under the leadership of the Irish engineer, the project on deepening of the local bay and removal of calcareous boulders and deepening of the mouth of the Swan River was implemented. Thus Fremantle turned into the large port, still remaining one of key ports of Western Australia. In the years of World War II, Fremantle was the second largest base of submarines of the anti-Hitlerite coalition on the Pacific theatre of actions. Fremantle is known for many well-remained architecture monuments forming unity with city landscapes. First of all, it is the colonial buildings built by prisoners, Old Pier and Port, local prisons. The majority of constructions is constructed of limestone and decorated with the decorated facades. The rapid development of the city, which followed expansion of the local bay, generated the whole architectural complexes of an era of Edward VII, which were constructed by the trading and ship companies on the western outskirts of the city and the drained grounds. In Fremantle there is the oldest building in Western Australia, the so-called Roundhouse, prisoner, constructed between 1830–1831. In her there are 8 prison cells and the residence of the prison inspector, which windows open on the central courtyard. Under the building there is a tunnel constructed in the 19th century by local whalers for direct access to the city from pier and the beach. The Roundhouse is located in the territory of the western outskirts of Fremantle, a congestion of streets at the southern outskirts of Port, on which buildings of Georgiansky and Victorian architecture are located. In the early 90s, many architectural objects of the western outskirts underwent gentrification. In 1850, when to Fremantle profits of 75 British prisoners, became obvious that the local Roundhouse isn't enough for their placement. As a result, prisoners constructed new prison, which construction was finished in the 1850th years and which worked up to 1991. In the past, Fremantle had reputation of one of the most notorious jails in the British Empire. In them settled the British, local, military prisoners, military enemies and captives. Now local prisons are objects of cultural heritage of the state of Western Australia. Other known architectural monument is the Museum of History of Fremantle, which was also constructed by prisoners in the 1860th years of local limestone. In the past, the museum building, built in the Victorian style, was used as lunatic asylum, and now it is one of city sites. In the years of World War II, the building was used as the headquarters of the navies of the USA, now in the Arts Centre of Fremantle, and the Museum of Immigration was located. Fremantle's market forms the whole craft area in which delicacies are on sale, dining rooms, the fish and vegetable markets work. The first stone in the base of the market was put on November 6, 1897 by the acting Prime Minister of Western Australia, John Forrest. In the building, built in the Victorian style, there are over 150 counters, and it is included in the National List on Protection of Historical Monuments. In the territory of the local cemetery, ashes of Bon Scott, the leading vocalist of the legendary Australian rock group AC/I Strict of Columbia, are buried, and in Port his statue is established. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.